So welcome everybody to today's SYNCHRO Open Office. My name's Graham Lee. I'm a SYNCHRO consultant with Bentley Systems, and I'm joined today by Alex Buzan. Both of us work out of the UK. The purpose of the agenda today is that this will be the third in a series of technical focused sessions with SYNCHRO experts. This is the first session that we've had here in Europe. We've had previous sessions over in the US. So we're looking at showcasing best practices for common situations, and essentially we want to engage with the users. We all understand that during these difficult times, the majority of our users are working from home, and we want to engage with those users as best we can. We understand that there is, when you're working remotely, that there's sometimes difficulties in accessing licenses, etc. And we just want to engage with the users and help them through any difficulties that they may have with that. We've published some guidance that in that link you can see on the screen there. And also, if you raise any service tickets, we will prioritize any service tickets that you do raise. And if you mark the service tickets as working remotely, we will prioritize those as necessary. A few links. You can subscribe to our YouTube channel. You can follow us on Twitter, and also check out the SYNCHRO pages on bentley.com. So SYNCHRO is a growing brand for Bentley's construction portfolio, and it consists of field control, 4D and AWP, advanced work packaging. Today we're going to concentrate on the 4D side of things, which is the SYNCHRO Pro application. With a view to the expanding brands, the expanding brand itself, we have an upcoming event which I'd like to invite you to, the Accelerate SYNCHRO virtual conference, which will take place between the 18th and 21st of May. We would greatly appreciate if you could come along. We will be showcasing the latest developments that we have for SYNCHRO, field, control, 4D, etc. And just finally, some general rules. All microphones are muted. The session will end at 5 minutes to the hour to give you time to move to your next meeting, prepare for your next meeting. If you do have any questions, please pop those into the Q&A window. And finally, have fun. I'm going to hand you over to my colleague Alex now, who's going to take you through the main part of the presentation, which is going to be a live demo. Over to you, Alex.
Thank you, Graham. So, hi everyone, and thank you for joining this SYNCHRO Open Office session. Let me share my screen first, and then I will carry on. Okay.
Okay, I can see your screen.
Excellent, thank you. Today I'm going to show a couple of things you can do in SYNCHRO. The first one is about how to export an Excel file from SYNCHRO, edit, and then import it back to SYNCHRO. And for the second topic, because I saw many questions in our support platform around 3D paths, I will show you how to easily create one and assign it to a 3D resource to create a nice movement. So let's start with the first one, SYNCHRO to Excel file. As you can see on my screen, for this demo, I will use this steel structure, which is already assigned to my current schedule. As you probably already know, SYNCHRO Pro allows you to export information from your 4D model into an Excel file. And if you already tried, by going to File, Export, Microsoft Excel, and it doesn't work, just make sure you have installed on your machine the Microsoft Excel ODBC driver. Yeah, let me just quickly show it to you. You will need to have this one, especially if you have a 34-bit, 64-bit configuration Windows. If it still doesn't work, you can find in SYNCHRO help a bit more about what you can do. For example, in this part here, there are some more explanations. Right. Now, you may ask why I would like to export data from SYNCHRO to Excel. And for example, maybe you want to run an earned value analysis on your project. And for that, you need to calculate cost per tasks. You need to calculate this budgeted at completion, for example. Yeah, and this cost per task is a sum of a direct budgeted cost and cost that may come from your resources which are assigned to those specific tasks. So one use can be, I would like to populate all these resources, all this property, cost and cost type to be included in my cost type, in my cost calculation. Of course, you can do that going here and start to type in manually. But you can see I have a lot of them. So one option can be to export this resource window into Excel, and then in Excel I can even compute the cost per each steel element. Another use may be on my project, I'm assigning resource statuses, and as I already started to do on this one. But I have from field some data coming in Excel files, and I would like to populate my resources with resource statuses in Excel. Maybe it will be faster and it will save me some time. So for this exercise, during this exercise, I will include both. First, I'm opening the resource window and see what I would like to export in the Excel. And that is by taking out or adding some columns. For example, I don't need this one, I don't need this one, 3D. No, I will keep cost and cost time because cost type, because these two I actually have to populate. And I would like to bring some more user fields, for example, the steel weight. Yeah, and something else, maybe the steel profile, which is under a specific user field, and I can find out which one by selecting the resource, going to resource properties, user fields, and I need this one, IFC related type. Okay. Okay. If I select a resource and go to resource properties, statuses, I can see that I have already assigned some statuses, but I want to do that for all elements. So I'm ready now to export my Excel file. File, export, Microsoft Excel. Give it a name. Save. Next. At this point, I have a list of everything I can export into Excel file. And as I said for this demo, I'm exporting only the resources. So I will skip all, select resource, export, and resource statuses, because I said I want to populate my resources with some more statuses. Export. And finish. I will go now to open the Excel file to see what I have in there. So yes, it's this one. You can see that in this Excel file I have a couple of, actually three spreadsheets. The second and the third are the elements I wanted to export, and it's very important to keep this order here in the Excel, to not change the order or the hierarchy, because you will have some issues when you will try to import it back into SYNCHRO. And let's expand a little bit these columns. I can see all my resources listed here, the name. I can see the cost, which I will have to input. I can also see the cost type. Also, I exported this weight and still profile, because if I have some tables, some cost tables from the manufacturer, I can actually uh, create a formula here in Excel and populate the cost for each element. But I don't want to lose time with that, so I will just copy, let's say, 150 is the cost of this BIM, and just copy it for all my resources. Yeah. Okay. And as I said, I need to set up also the cost type. In this case, because it's just one element, I can assume that the cost is fixed or it's per item. I will choose fixed. Make sure you spell correctly, and it's key sensitive as well. So you need to type in the exact name as it is here in this drop down menu. So I will type in fixed. And copy this across. Okay. We'll do save, and I will go now into the next spreadsheet, because I said I want to modify status for some elements. Maybe someone on the field recorded on some papers or into an Excel file. So let's copy this, installed for some more elements. Okay, and I will change the name, the date as well. So they were installed actually on the 11th of May. Good. Save. And now I'm ready to import the Excel file back to SYNCHRO. File, import Microsoft Excel, open, next. I will choose import, integrate only the resources and the resource statuses. And synchronize. Finish. And you can see my cost and the cost type. It's populated. I can also see now in the task list that this column budgeted at completion, it's basically summing up all the costs per tasks. Of course, you can include in this budgeted at completion also a direct budgeted cost. If you just bring that specific column and start typing some values, this will get added to this value. And what you can do now is actually to open the EVA graph and you can see the earned value analysis. So this is one use. The other one, because we imported also some resource statuses, I can visualize actually and compare with my current schedule the actual dates of steel which was installed. So I need to open a 3D window. I will also link them. And for one, I will change from the 3D view properties, the appearance profile as resource statuses. I need to choose the category, material. And you can see that the steel. So here is the first status when it arrived on site, and then it's turning into dark blue because it's finished, it's installed. So you can do this nice comparison between planned and actual. Another use, if I'm here, let me show you that based on statuses, you can quickly recalculate actually the task progress based on resource status. So if you open this window in project controls, recalculate task progress, you can set up a rule and within this rule you may select, you want to select the statuses you want to include and give them a percentage when it's on site. Maybe the task, usually it should be at 0, so I shouldn't include this one. When it's installed, it's 100%. Choose to calculate the percentage as an average for the entire task, and then you run, you can see that your task for section H is at 100% completed, but you may get different percentage based on resource status. So close it for now. Close. Before going into the next topic, I can see that someone asked, and I will take this question now. Someone is asking, what if the cost is coming into the 3D model as an user field? Can I use it to calculate the budgeted at completion? So basically, and because I was expecting this type of question, I have this model ready to show you how to use cost for resources, which is coming as a user defined as a user value, user field. I will do some undo because I want to get rid of the cost here. Okay, I think it's fine. And so let's say the designer also included the price into the 3D model, and it's coming as a user field. If I select the resource and select task, resource properties in user fields, right, I can see this SYNCHRO cost. Yeah, I have this value for all my steel. Yeah. But because this user field value is not included in the formula of calculating budgeted at completion, I need to do somehow to transfer this value here into the cost property, and in the same time to set up also the cost type. So let me bring this user field into the resources window. We'll remove these two, don't need them. And bring the cost user field, okay? Which is here. I can see all the values for all my resources, which are assigned already to schedule. What I need to do is basically to transfer this, to copy this column and paste it in the cost column. And of course, you may quickly think that I can export again all this table into Excel and do in Excel a copy paste and import it back, and that's it. But actually, there is an easier way to do that within SYNCHRO, because here in SYNCHRO we have this great tool which is called SYNCHRO Script, which allows you to do this kind of operations. So I will open SYNCHRO Script. I have this script already prepared for this exercise, but I can take you through these two lines. The first one is saying that for all resources with this user field, with SYNCHRO cost user field, set up the property cost, which is this one, with this user field value, which is this one. Okay, so this line will basically copy me SYNCHRO cost into cost. And the second one is to set up the cost type. So for all the resources with this user field, set up the cost type with value 1. Value 1 is corresponding for the fixed type. And let's run it. So I will hit preview. I can see all the results. Everything looks all right. I'm happy. I hit run and close. You can see now the cost type is changed to fix for all my resources. And the cost is getting this value. Pay attention here because sometime this cost user field may come from the 3D authoring software, may come as a string. In this case, it's a number, and it's all fine because the cost property accepts only numbers, yeah, as you may agree. So when it's coming as a string, you will have to do one more operation, and that is to change from a string value into a number. And you can do that with a user field or again with another Synchro script line, and you can include it as well with this two other. So I think you're happy with this answer. Let me jump into the next topic, and then I will take any questions for this bit. The second topic for today is, as I said, how to easily create a 3D path. And for this one, I will be using this 3D model, and I have some roads here. I want to make some equipment moving on this road. Let me quickly close these windows. Resources. Right. First, let's pick. Let's choose a, I don't know, point around this area. I want to bring an equipment within this area, and maybe you already know this or not, but I will tell you. There is a trick in Synchro. If you want to find out some coordinates for a specific point, you can right-click in the 3D view, create, comment, and if you snap a point, it will give you the coordinates. I will copy this into text file, for example. Cancel. But of course, if I'm here, let me quickly show you that if you're snapping an area, you will get area, I said. You will get the area, and if you're snapping a line, you will get the length of it. Okay. So I took the coordinates for that specific point because I want to bring my equipment within this area. I already know that the equipments are far away from where this model is, so I don't want to spend more time just try to align them and to just by knowing some coordinates within your model, you can bring the equipment where you want. And I hope you know that in Synchro, under the support tab, or you can go here in the right corner, and you have this equipment library. This will open a nice library from where you can download a lot of equipments you can use on your site. This is taking a while. Yep. So for this demo, I downloaded the generic vehicles, and I will use some of those. So I want to import that file, import 3D, generic vehicles, and I want to import a truck. Next. Next. I will input here the coordinates. So I will just copy them from my text file. Make sure you have absolute in selection, because relative, it means that we'll move, SYNCHRO will move the equipment relative to its current position by these distances. And import. I want to assign it at this time to a equipment resource. I will choose the equipment resource. Next. And I will choose the first option because I want my equipment to be this one resource. Finish. Okay. So you can see the equipment is imported in the exact place I wanted, or almost. But I need to bring it on the street. We will use the advanced manipulator. Just put it here and rotate it a little bit. Maybe lift it. But this is fine because I can fix this position also with the 3D path. So I have my truck on the correct position. Now the quickest way I find to create a 3D path and make this equipment to move, to follow that 3D path is, first, I will quickly create a task as well for this truck. Okay, and now I will select resource and I will click on create 3D path. See, the first point is already the center of this truck, and then I will just give the second keyframe on my 3D path, basically the direction I want my truck to follow. So double click here, select a few more points. I think I've snapped something else here. Let me create it again. 3D path. Make sure you're not snapping elements as I did somewhere in the air. Yeah. This is the 3D path I'm creating. And with right click, I finish the command. I will give it a name. And my 3D path is created. I need to assign the resource to a specific task. We'll do that with Control D. I see it's assigned. I see that I assigned it with a wrong, not a wrong, with the appearance profile I don't want. So I will quickly change this task properties in general. Change it to equipment. Let's see what it does so far. It's all right. I also need to assign the 3D path I created to this resource, and you can do that. Task properties, resources, 3D path. This is the path I created. But you can see my track is halfway through the road. I will change the alignment to on top. Yeah. And my track is following the 3D path, but I don't like the final result, so I have to make one more adjustment. I want to make the track to actually follow and to make a nice curve around that curve. So we'll show you the easiest way how to do that, because of course you can go and modify each keyframe of this 3D path, but in Synchro you can select the 3D path and then open the 3D path properties. Go here at the bottom of this window and click on the first keyframe, then right click, share directions from the selected row to all keyframes by tangent. And let's see what it does. Now I can see it's moving much nicer. So easiest way. I think, yes, my track had a little bit of rotation and I will have to correct that. But see how easy I created a 3D path. Sometimes you have, or if you're lucky enough to have some swept path analysis drawings, you can use those drawings basically to bring in some polylines, some lines into Synchro, and then convert those into a 3D path. So I will show you how to do that. I have from, let's say, my designer a swept path drawing around this curve, and I just want to bring from that one the vehicle path so I can use it. File, import, 3D, and here you can see that you can import also drawings. Yeah, this drawing contains basically that path, that vehicle path. I will open. Next, here. Make sure you don't want to ignore the wireframe 3D objects, because in my drawing I have a few lines. Those are considered wireframe. And next, don't want to input any coordinates because it should come in the right coordinates. Let's see what is happening. Import. I don't need to create a resource because I want to use the lines within that drawing to create 3D paths. So I will choose no assignment, finish. Nothing happened, and that is because I need to go in 3D properties and change the render mode to wireframe. Okay, so because I have a wireframe, I want to visualize it. I will change the render mode. This is basically the vehicle path I am bringing from a drawing. I want to convert it into 3D path, and I will select it. I have here this button under 3D paths, convert polylines. It's enough to click once and the 3D path is created. Yep. I can switch now to go road shaded, and I have the 3D path. The thing I need to do now is to bring in an equipment or the resource I want to move around this curve. And we'll quickly take again some coordinates because I want to bring a resource within this area. Let's say this point. And then file, import. Actually choose something else. I think I've missed something. Right, so I have it here. Create a task for it. Assign it fully. Again, I forgot to change the equipment. Equipment. Okay. Select task properties. 3D path. I can see it here, the converted polyline, because I had an offset, but I can bring it on my path. And go to the first keyframe in 3D path properties. Okay. It's going well. I just have to rotate a little bit with modified 3D path. I mean, make sure you're in first keyframe. Rotate your vehicle. And make sure you capture this. And okay, so let's see what I've done. Yeah, it's moving as I wanted. Good. And this is how to create a 3D path by importing lines from a drawing. And someone noticed that I used to assign resource to tasks. I used shortcut which is not default in SYNCHRO, and it's asking how can I modify these shortcuts. Well, if you right click here in the ribbon area, customize the ribbon, you have this keyboard shortcuts. Click on customize, and for assigning resources, you can see I've changed the default one to be Control D, because I think the default one, if I'm doing a reset, the default one is this one, which I can say that I don't like. Close. Oh, cancel this. Let me go through the questions. How to change the currency. So when I did the previous exercise, I have here pounds, but you can change that in options. If I go to general currency, so change the currency unit in here. Okay. This is an interesting one. I hope I'll have time to answer it. So, how to assign the same equipment to a different task and 3D path? Well, I can show you how you can do that. Let's take this truck and use it to create another movement. Create a task first. Okay. And assign it also to this task. I have it here as well. Okay. I want to assign it to a different 3D path. I need to edit this resource, but edit as assigned. So if you select your resource and right click, edit as assigned, and select the task for which you want to edit. Okay. Moving it away. And this one, for this one, I want to create a new 3D path. All right, let's create a 3D path. Sign up. Assign to this one. 3D path. Why isn't it? Three D path. Okay, I want to select only this task. Right. And assign a new path. And on top. So yeah, like this, you can assign basically the same equipment to different tasks and different 3D paths. Yeah, because maybe you don't want to bring a lot of equipments in your 4D model. You can use the same equipment for more than one task and for more than one 3D path.
Okay, that's great, Alex. Thank you very much. We're pretty much out of time there.
Okay.
For any other questions that we've not managed to respond to today, if you would leave us your email addresses in the chat, in the Q&A window, we will get back to you. But thank you, everybody, for attending today's session. Thank you, Alex.
Thank you.